Hello and welcome to IP Study Video Lectures. Today we will discuss the 5th chapter of Grade 8 English Grammar, and we will dive into the colorful world of adjectives. Adjectives makes our sentences concise, clear and full of details. So our topic is adjectives. By the end of this lesson, you will be able to define adjectives and its kinds, use adjectives for comparison. For example, positive degree, comparative degree and superlative degree. So adjectives are very nicely used to compare lot of things and nouns. You will be able to apply the correct order of adjectives in a sentence. Before we go further, let's look at this following example. Dad, how much money did you give to the beggar? I gave him some money. In these two sentences, the words such as how much and some, they are representing the quantity of the money. That means adjectives are used to describe the nouns used in the sentences. So in the first sentence, the child is asking, how much money did you give to the beggar? That means what was the quantity of the money? So the words how much are expressing the quantity. I gave him some money. Here, some is representing the quantity. So that's why I said that adjectives, they add so much meaning and detail to the names or to the nouns used in the sentence. Let's read some of the following sentences. Running a marathon is exhausting. Mumbai is a big metropolis. Now, in these two sentences, the words exhausting and big metropolis, they are adjectives. That means they are describing the nouns. In the first sentence, exhausting is describing how was marathon. Running the marathon is exhausting. So the feeling. Mumbai is big metropolis. Now, how is Mumbai? Mumbai is a name of the city, and how is it? It is a big metropolis. It is a big metropolitan city. So here big metropolis and exhausting, they are both adjectives. There are different kinds of adjectives, and we will study all the kinds in detail. Let us first understand how many kinds of adjectives are there. Adjectives are of 8 kinds. What are those? Adjectives of quality, adjectives of quantity, numeral adjectives, distributive adjectives, demonstrative adjectives, interrogative adjectives, possessive adjectives and proper adjectives. Since adjectives, they add detail to the nouns, there are of different kinds. Some represent or some add quantity, quality, possessive, or the demonstration, or distribute, or interrogations in the sentences. Hence, we have 8 kinds of adjectives. Let's study adjectives of quality. These adjectives tell us about quality or kind of a person or thing we are talking about. For example, the brave firefighter rescued the kitten from the burning building. The fierce lion defended its territory from intruders. Here, brave and fierce, they are representing, brave is representing firefighter, fierce is representing lion. That means they are describing the quality of these two nouns. Adjectives of quantity, they denote how much quantity of a thing is meant. That means what is the quantity of the thing or a noun we are talking about in the sentence. For example, she owns some books on gardening. There are little chances of rain tomorrow. So here some and little are representing the quantity. Numeral adjectives. These adjectives are used to show how many persons or things we mean, or the order in which persons or things stand. That means you can represent them in number, or in which order are they standing, or in which order the things are. For example, he scored the first goal of the match. She stood first in the race. They have 3 children, 2 boys and 1 girl. So the adjectives, when they represent numbers or the order, they're called numeral adjectives. Some other numeral adjectives are some, few, all, most, many, any, single, for, fourth. That means they're all representing numbers. Few and some can also be used for the adjectives of quantity, and they can also be used for numeral adjectives. Distributive adjectives. These adjectives are used to denote each one of a number. That means out of the pool of many students, we're talking about each student. That means out of all the houses on the street, we are talking about every house on the street. That means we are talking about the single entity, but we are talking about them from the pool of things. So we use distributive adjectives, which is each student received a certificate for their outstanding performance. Every house on the street was decorated for the holiday. So here each and every, they represent distributive adjectives. Demonstrative adjective. Demonstrative adjectives are those adjectives which point out to which person or thing, like this, that. For example, I remember those summer days spent by the lake. This chair is very comfortable to sit on. So these, those, this, that, they all point out to certain things, and these are called demonstrative adjectives because they're adding more to the description of the things we are talking about in the sentence or we are using as subjects. So they're adding more to it, and we are helping or we are using them to point out to those things. Interrogative adjectives. These adjectives are used with nouns to ask questions. For example, whose idea was it to organize this event? What is your favorite color? Which is your favorite cousin? So all of these words are called interrogative adjectives. Possessive adjectives. Possessive adjectives are those adjectives which shows or which represents the nouns like they possess. That means we use them with nouns to show who possesses something. Those words are also used as pronouns. That means in place of nouns. For example, I think now it's my chance to present my scream. Our teacher did not come today. It is your turn now. So the words like my, our, his, her, its, their, they're all called possessive adjectives. They show possession of the nouns. Our teacher, my book, my chance, your turn. Proper adjectives. Proper nouns, when used as adjectives, are called proper adjectives. For example, that girl is Chinese. In this sentence, Chinese is a proper noun. That means Chinese represents a certain type of language and it is a particular type of language, right? So when these are used as adjectives, we call them proper adjectives. How? That girl is a Chinese teacher. So here, Chinese is used to describe teacher. What kind of a teacher? Chinese teacher. So when the proper nouns are used to describe the noun, they're called proper adjectives. Like, they went to England. England is a proper noun. And in this sentence, they speak English language fluently. That means English is a proper noun, but it is here used to represent or to add more meaning to the language. What kind of a language? English language. That means it is a proper adjective. And we also use adjectives for comparisons. That means sometimes we compare persons or things. So we add degrees to them. They're called adjectives for comparisons. We use 3 forms of adjectives to compare persons and things. What are those? Those are positive degree, comparative degree, and superlative degree. Positive degree is that where no comparison is needed. That means in case of no comparison, for example, Vipul is a strong boy. That means it is representing the quality of that boy. But we are also giving a compliment. So that is called a positive degree. That means no change. And it's a simple adjective. Comparative degree. Comparative degree is used when you compare two persons. For example, Jagrit is stronger than Vimal. Here we are comparing Jagrit and Vimal. So we use stronger than. Superlative, when we compare more than two, that means we compare one person out of many. For example, Amir is the strongest boy. That means we are choosing Amir as the strongest boy in the class. As you must have noticed, in comparative degree and superlative degree, we add ER when it's a comparative degree to the positive degree. And when it's the superlative degree, we add EST to the positive degree. Now let's understand how do we form the comparative and superlative degree of adjective. Positive degree is the simple adjective. For example, great, comfortable, expensive, right? Comparative degree is added or is formed by adding ER to the positive degree. For example, great becomes greater. Superlative degree is formed by adding EST to the positive degree. For example, great, greater, greatest. Similarly, with positive degrees such as comfortable, we use less. Less comfortable. So in this type of a word, comfortable remains the same, but we use less along with it. Now when we convert it into superlative degree, less becomes least. So positive degree is comfortable, comparative degree is less comfortable, superlative degree is least comfortable. Expensive, now we use the comparative degree more expensive, and this more becomes most in the superlative degree. So when we are talking about less, we use less in comparative degree and we use least in the superlative degree. Less means we are comparing two people or two things, but least means you are comparing one with many. Okay, with more comparative degree, most is the superlative degree, and by changing positive degree, by adding ER to it, it becomes the comparative degree, but when you add EST to the positive degree, it becomes the superlative degree. Here are some ways of making comparative and superlative degrees of adjectives. Positive degree short. As explained earlier, you can simply add ER to the positive degree, it becomes shorter. And when you add EST to the positive degree, it becomes shortest. When an adjective ends in E is dropped before adding ER and EST. So the adjectives where it ends with E, for example, safe. In these kinds, you simply drop E from the positive degree and add very good ER to make it a comparative degree, so it is safer. And EST to a positive degree, by dropping E, it becomes safest. When an adjective ends in Y is changed to I before adding ER and EST. So ugly, you simply change Y into I and then add ER and EST to it. So ugly, comparative degree of ugly is uglier. Superlative degree of ugly is ugliest. Ugly, uglier, ugliest. In case of some adjectives, the last letter is doubled before adding ER or EST. For example, thin. In these kind of adjectives, you simply double the consonant because it is ending with the consonant. So you simply double it and add ER and EST to it. Thin becomes thinner and thinnest. Some adjectives can be changed into their comparative and superlative degrees by writing more or less and most or least to the positive degree. For example, courageous. Now, these kind of adjectives, they do not end with the vowels E or with a consonant. They're already in a very descriptive form. For example, courageous. So, all of these you use the comparative degree like more courageous and most courageous. There are some irregular adjectives also. Their comparative and superlative degrees are formed not from the positive degree but by using a new word. For example, much. So with much, you do not change anything but a new word is formed. When you change much into comparative degree, it becomes more and more becomes most in superlative degree. Now let's understand using adjectives of comparison. The positive degree, normally an adjective's positive degree is used where no comparison is involved and we are talking of only one person or thing. So the positive degree is formed when there is no comparison and you're just simply stating the adjective, you're simply stating or talking about one person. For example, Aditi is an intelligent girl, Kanpur is a big city. This is the positive degree. We also use positive degree to compare two persons, things or more than two persons or things. For example, Madhu is as graceful as Shivani. So, by adding words like as, we can compare two things with the positive degree as well. The comparative degree. Normally, the comparative degree is used to compare two persons or things. A television is more expensive than a radio set. The comparative degree can also be used to compare more than two things. Like, Dinesh is taller than most other cadets in this batch. Gold is costlier than all other metals. The superlative degree. The superlative degree is used when we are comparing more than two persons or things. For example, this is one of the most boring stories I have heard. June 21 is the longest day of the year. So, the use of article the before the superlative degree is mandatory because here you're comparing one thing with the other thing. So, one of the most is the longest. This is a superlative degree. Let's understand the order of adjectives. When more than one adjective is used before a noun, the adjectives are placed in a certain order. For example, he is a smart young man. They sat round a large oval table. This is an old Russian song. I like that old blue cotton shirt. So, in these four sentences, the quality or the age. That means these sentences have more than one adjectives. So here smart is the quality, young is the age. So how to use them? So the quality comes the first and then the age. When you're talking about two things and there are size and shape. So size comes the first and then shape and then your noun. When you're talking about nationality or a state, you use age first. Old Russian, old Indian. When you're talking about age, color, then the order is age, color and material. A tall, slim girl beckoned me. So size comes the first and then the quality. You cannot form a sentence like a slim, tall girl. So the size comes first and then the quality and then your noun. My sister has bought a new silk sari. So the age comes first and then the material. The order in which adjectives are placed before a noun is shown as following. So first adjectives of size, then quality, showing age, color, showing shape, nationality and material. So it is S, Q, A, C, S, N, M. So it shows the adjective of size, then quality, then it shows the age, color, shape, nationality, and material. So that was all about adjectives. Adjectives are those colorful words which add a lot of details to the nouns, and they help us to express the nouns in detail. We did that adjectives are of 8 kinds. Adjectives of quality, adjective of quantity, numeral adjective, adjective of distributive adjectives, demonstrative adjectives, interrogative adjectives, possessive adjectives, and proper adjectives. They were all different and unique in their own ways. Adjectives can also be used for comparisons, and they have 3 forms: positive degree, comparative degree, and superlative degree. When more than one adjective is used in a sentence or is used before a noun, we use them in order, or we put the adjectives in the order. And what is that order? That is adjectives of size, quality, age, color, shape, nationality, and material. Thank you for being with us, and stay tuned for our next video.